Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Q Ball studios. You're watching on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, youtube.com, obviously where you can go and subscribe to us for the Wake Up Call DT channel. You can also find us on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/live now DT. And of course, you're listening worldwide on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com. So with that being said, joining me picture in picture here, we have done a lot of conversations together, and we've never gotten to do it like this, and that is Gary Stokan, President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., which oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game, and so much more, including their connection to the College Football Hall of Fame, as well as all that they do in the community all throughout the year. So with that being said, Mr. Gary Stokan, how are we doing?
Dan, thanks for having us. Happy New Year to you and all your listeners. And we look forward to hopefully getting to Thursday to kick this thing off with all that's going on. I just saw that the Holiday Bowl with my alma mater, NC State, had to cancel tonight's game.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy how everything has happened, and these last 19 months or so have really challenged so many people. Just what you could say you have done to navigate through these challenges, especially being connected when it comes to the bowl world and, collegiate athletics, that, this is something you're dealing with as a grandfather, as a father, as a husband, as a friend. And at the same time, you're dealing with it in the grand scope of, hundreds of people, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. So how have you navigated through the last 19 months?
Well, it's been interesting, that's for sure. You learn how to adapt and be flexible. And, we created a next person up for COVID last year. And we went through not being able to have 3 Chick-fil-A kickoff games. We had our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl with Georgia and Cincinnati, number 8, number 9, with only 25% capacity. We went this year with being able to have 2 Chick-fil-A kickoff games with Alabama, Miami, and Louisville and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Now we're here still facing COVID protocols at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at the end of 2021. So it's been tough mentally, physically, emotionally, financially on a lot of people. We're blessed we haven't lost anybody to COVID. I pray for those people that have suffered death in their family or friends.
Yeah.
Just have to learn how to adapt to things and come up with a backup plan, which we're used to being in this type of business.
Yeah, and having that backup plan ready has been something that's been trying on everybody in certain ways. And like you said, to anyone who's lost a loved one, we feel for them more than anything, and for anyone who's passed on themselves. And, we feel for that and pray for the spirits and for their families to be safe and sound and well. Faith is something that's been a key ingredient to your life and to my life, the main ingredient, if you will. How have you utilized that with your team, with your family, with yourself in dealing with unprecedented times?
Well, we've been blessed. I told people that, a lot of life is carrying a positive attitude. And we've been blessed that our staff, we've been named the best places to work by the Atlanta Business Chronicle, and we've been named best employer in sports by Front Office Sports. So we've tried to take care of our people. Most importantly, they're our most important assets, by giving them the time and the emotional support to let them flourish and survive to some degree in this crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
So we've tried to take care of them emotionally, spiritually, financially, and giving them a platform that they feel like they're comfortable, that they can move forward in the crazy times that we live.
We look at, everything that has been going on, and obviously the fluidity of COVID protocols and whatnot. What have you done this season for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to do everything you can for the Pittsburgh Panthers and the Michigan State Spartans to make sure that this thing goes off well. What did you learn from last year, and how are you dealing with the fluidity still of the situation?
Well, we're applying a lot of things we did learn last year, obviously with masks and social distancing. Our team is fully vaccinated. We've tried to do as much virtually as we can and staying in touch. And we've tried to limit the amount of, I guess, opportunity for people to mix with other people outside the team.
Yeah.
In other words, all of our press conferences have moved to virtual. Our after the game press conferences will even be virtual. We've tried to cut down on the events that we have, putting other people around the teams. They can stay safe and healthy, which is the most important thing that we want to do this week, so that they're able to play the game on Thursday night.
And, you said it, that, as crazy as the world continues to be, that you could actually take from last year because you were able to play your bowl game. And just what you could say were some of the parameters, things that you put in place, and different kind of pillars of last year that you could take into this season to make sure that you were ready for what could happen. How did you take the insanity, craziness, and just kind of, everything was up in the air last year and turn it into maybe a workable commodity this year?
Well, I think we've all learned how to be flexible. That's the most important thing. Don't be so rigid. In our business, you organize things and set things up, and then you look to execute them. Well, as you're setting them up, things may change, and so you have to be able to adapt and be flexible to call an audible, so to speak. You also have to have the kind of relationships internally and externally that people trust you and they know that you have their best interest in mind, both individually on your team and outwardly with the two universities that you're dealing with. So building that relationship is so important, so that they trust in what you're trying to do. They'll buy into it and go along with it.
And how have you felt about Michigan State and Pitt, and how they've responded to this fluid situation? How I mean, they come down and they're there, and I mean, we've been getting the emails, as someone who is an accredited member of, the media coverage of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which, I'm very appreciative over and thankful for. We get the emails of, hey, you can meet the team. We're going to do this, this, and this. Then we get an email saying, hey, this is going to be moved to here, and then this is going to go here, and this is going to be virtual. So, we're seeing the changes on our end. How have Pittsburgh and Michigan State responded to the potential for change?
Well, they've been great. They know that playing in a New Year's Six bowl game, and like the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, is awfully important to their program. Number one, they're playing for a lot. When you got Michigan State, who can win 11 games for only the sixth time in their 97-year history, and set them up to be in the top 10 to finish the year, and to set them seniors out in the right way, but also set up next year's beginning of the season. And then you've got Pitt, who, if they win this game, would be only the second time in 117-year history that they'll have won 12 games. The time was the 1976 national championship team. So the kids have been great. They're resilient. They deal with things. So they've been great. And both Mel Tucker and Pat Narduzzi are great people, great leaders. They have great respect from their players who trust them explicitly. And so it's been a great week. It really has, with all the things that we've all had to deal with. So we're just looking forward to getting to the most important thing, which is the game on Thursday night.
And I promised myself, after not really traveling anywhere in 2020, and that was so weird for me. As you know, I mean, you go all throughout the country, and I travel as much as I can too, and try to go to a lot of different places. Haven't been on the West Coast yet, but I've been to a bunch of different parts, and I love travel, and I love meeting people and connecting and making my world smaller in a great way. So, 2020 was surreal to me. And I promised myself, I said, in 2021, God willing, I'll be able to travel. And on January 1st of 2021, I kept my word to myself and I took my butt down to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and got to see Cincinnati and Georgia. Your thoughts on doing that now, hindsight 2020, and now dealing continuously with COVID protocol now, looking back on that game and pulling that off and having somewhat of capacity for that game, having us there in the media to be there on site on location, just what your positive takeaways were from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl that ended the 2020-2021 season featuring Georgia and Cincinnati.
Well, you're right, Dan. We were really thankful that we were able to even put on the game because, earlier that year we had lost the opportunity to host Florida State, West Virginia, Virginia and Georgia, and Auburn and North Carolina in our Chick-fil-A kickoff game. So to have Cincinnati and Georgia come in, and really Cincinnati only came in for 3 days. They cut the schedule down for safety purposes, and Georgia really only came in the night before the game. So the kids really didn't even get a bowl experience, and we weren't able to put on our great Southern hospitality, which we're known for.
Yeah.
So, but the game was the most important thing, and we had a great game, went down to a last second kick. And, I've talked to Luke Fickell, and, their run this year and with their placement this year to play in the semifinals, he says a lot of that was due to playing in last year's Chick-fil-A kickoff game, that his team found the confidence that they could play with Georgia, who this year was ranked number one for a lot of the season. So,
yeah,
I think our game was really, as I said up earlier, it gives teams an opportunity to set up their next year's schedule by giving them the confidence, and in case of Cincinnati, confidence to be the first team from the group of five to be in the college football playoff semifinal game.
Yeah, speaking here with Gary Stokan, president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., overseeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and so much more, including the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game, and in certain seasons, games for the kickoff. And you just brought up the fact in the Peach Bowl last year, Cincinnati being able to play up against Georgia really showed them what they can do. And I've covered Cincinnati for the better part of almost a decade now, and their entire time in the American Athletic. And you brought up the Group of Five moniker. I don't like the Power Five, Group of Five. I know media terms, and that's because there's teams like UCF, like Cincinnati, that have done really incredible things on the football field that I think have gone unnoticed or underrepresented, or maybe judged before they were even, judged at the beginning of the season before they even played a game. I argued that they should have been the fourth team in the college football playoff last year, and seeing what they did against Georgia, leading that entire game. You saw it. I was there. You were there. They led about 85% of the way, and then it was a couple last possessions and a couple passes here and there that set up a field goal that ended up winning it for Georgia. The game ends, and people say, well, that's the SEC being the SEC. Cincinnati doesn't belong. You and I both know that Cincinnati did belong, and if they are to win this time around, they could have a rematch with Georgia. And I think what we saw last season at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, like you were talking about with Luke Fickell, is they're not going to shy away from the moment. And there's nobody that Cincinnati believes is better than them. They don't see David and Goliath. They see themselves versus whoever. So anybody that thinks that they're afraid of Alabama should probably go back and watch the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on January 1st of 2021.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We've been blessed to have Michigan, who's in the Final Four now 2 years ago. We've been able to have Alabama just in our Chick-fil-A kickoff game to start the season this year. Georgia last year and Cincinnati last year. So within the last 2 years, 3 years, I guess, we've had all four of the teams in the Final Four. So, and next year we'll kick off our Chick-fil-A kickoff game with Georgia versus Oregon.
Yeah.
With two top 10 teams, with Dan Lanning, ironically enough, coaching against his mentor and a lot of kids he's recruited at the University of Georgia. And then we'll kick off the ACC season on Monday night with Clemson, who I think will be in the top 10 again next year, against Georgia Tech. And then we'll end the season with the semifinal of the CFP with either number one against number four or two against three. So 5 of the 6 teams will be playing in our Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl will all be ranked in the top 10 next year. And following that up with having the 4 teams that are in the Final Four this year, over the last 3 years, there's been a lot of great football being played at Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and Chick-fil-A Peach Bowls.
What has that meant for you that you can say that? You know, that you look at the resume of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, and that you can say that the 4 teams that are fighting for the national championship this year within the last 3 seasons have been in your building, playing in your games that you're overseeing. It's incredible to see the level of talent. And it's not just that you saw some talent, you have seen what's been regarded by the College Football Playoff Committee as the best talent this year. And you've seen those players and those coaches, you know, the Kirby Smarts and the Jim Harbaughs and the Nick Sabans and the Luke Fickles, those coaches haven't changed. So you've had them in your building and you know that what they're capable of and what they've done, just what that means to your product to see that those 4 teams have advanced to where they are right now, fighting for the nation's top team moniker.
Well, Dan, it's one of the reasons why a lot of the media call Atlanta the capital of college football, with the being the 4th largest convention town in the United States behind Chicago, Las Vegas, and Orlando. Atlanta, 3 of their top 5 conventions this year will be Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So we were a bowl that, ironically enough, was created for charity.
Yeah.
Unlike the rose, the sugar, the orange, the cotton, which were created to bring tourism to their cities during the holiday season, we're doing both. We're able to provide this year about $100 million of economic impact in these tough COVID times to our tourism and hospitality industry, which resonates to about $6 million in sales tax that will go back into the city coffers. So we're able to provide that benefit to the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia, but also we're the most charitable bowl organization in the country, where this year we'll give $5 million back to charity. Last year we did the same during the COVID years, even though we didn't have our Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, and only 25% with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which totals to about $62 million since 2002 that we've given away in charitable donations. So, you know, we maintain that moniker and that mission of being the most charitable bowl organization. And we were created to give, being a bowl game created for charity. And we do so humbly, but we do so proudly as well.
You know, and having that, the give back to the community, not just monetarily, but with time and energy, just what you can say that's done for you as the president and CEO of Peach Bowl Inc., how it motivates you every single day to go to work, knowing that your bowl was created to aid others, and that's been who you are, Gary. I mean, that's all I've known you to be. So that parallel of the creation of the Peach Bowl to be a charitable organization, and for who you are with your charity, giving your time, your energy, and your faith, I would imagine has been a perfect marriage of sorts. Just what you could say about what it's like to get up every day and to have the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and Peach Bowl Inc. be where you get to go to work, knowing who you are as a human being.
Well, thank you for those compliments. We're very blessed, that's for sure. And it's ironic that being from Pittsburgh and having the University of Pittsburgh in our bowl game, and the donation that we made to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta 2 years ago of $20 million to find cures and trials to eradicate childhood cancer. One of the 7 trials that we now have actually little kids involved in, as you have to start with adults, or you have to start with animals, then adults, because of toxicity levels. And then you get into the children once it's proven that it works and won't harm children. One of the trials that we have is ironically enough, with kids in the University of Pittsburgh Hospital, Children's Hospital. So, you know, just that feeling and that perspective that you're giving back to your hometown, you're giving back to kids that are less fortunate, all through using, you know, the gifts God's given you. You know, my philosophy of life is God's gift to you is life. Your present back to him is how you take those God-given talents and maximize the potential of those. So all I've tried to do in 42 years of being in sports business is, take the talents he's given me and try and maximize it to give back through using sports. And we're very blessed to be able to do so.
And when you look at, the fact that you talk about the irony of the University of Pittsburgh and your connection to it, and then charitably the connection back to it and the Pittsburgh area, and then having Pittsburgh here as a team, you don't get to choose the teams. College football playoff committee chooses them. So just what you can say about that, because you've done a great job at selling tickets and being, one of the bowl games out there that has no issue packing the stands, and whether it's 25% capacity or 100% capacity. So how do you go about the uniqueness of selling a product, not always knowing who it's going to be? And this year it's Pittsburgh and Michigan State. And last year it was Cincinnati and in Georgia. So, at any given time, it could be anybody from anywhere. How do you have a business model that approaches this so successfully, knowing that it's kind of like putting your hand into a lottery system and just picking out one of the balls?
Well, we have a great staff to start with, and they're the best in the business. We're blessed in the city of Atlanta having very, very passionate fans for college football that buy the tickets. So a lot of credit goes to them. We package our tickets with the semifinal game that we have, as people, they want to see number one against number two against three. But the city of Atlanta, with the corporate support that we have through our board, with the passionate fans that we have, the great volunteers, and the great staff, we're just very blessed to be able to put that all together and be able to sell out 22 of the last 24 games. And so it's really been great to see the Peach Bowl go from what was, some media talked about being a third-tier bowl game, into a bowl that's in the New Year's Six. I mentioned it now in the same sentence with bowls that are 85 to 100 years old, like the Cotton, the Rose, the Orange, and the Sugar Bowl. So we fought hard to get here. We've been strategic. We've put together great teams and have great continuity of our people. And we've given back either through College Football Hall of Fame, moving it to Atlanta and sustaining it and building it, creating our Peach Bowl Challenge to host the coaches and give back to their charities and their universities by endowing, over $8.5 million of college scholarships to the universities that have played in our game. We feel like we've given back to the game. And we feel like that's one of the reasons why the commissioners, the ADs, the coaches, and the presidents have made us a part of the New Year's Six.
And being in the New Year's Six and knowing that you're going to be in the rotation, there's 43 bowl opportunities currently in America. That gives us 86 teams that are going to be in competition of the 130 FBS schools, and some FCS get involved like Jackson State this year. So seeing that there's bowls just all over the place, to be on a short list of New Year's Six that we know are going to be in the rotation, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, just the importance that you can say and just what it says about Atlanta, what it says about Peach Bowl Inc. and all the work that you're doing, that amongst 40 plus bowl games, you're a part of a group of six that is going to have its rotation to always be able to feature the top four teams in the country every few years.
Well, the partnership with Chick-fil-A, as I always tell people, they have great food, but they're better people. And they've been a big part of our success. We thank them, and the partnership that we have continues and will continue through 2025 till the end of the CFP contract now for both our Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So they're heavily invested in college sports. They're an Atlanta company, and as most people in the corporate world in Atlanta learn, giving back is what we do in the city of Atlanta to make Atlanta better. And Chick-fil-A is a perfect representation of that. And then it trickles down from there with just being able to have the great city that we live in, with the number one airport in the world, hourly flights into Atlanta, 13,000 hotel rooms downtown, a lot within walking distance of our great facilities like Mercedes-Benz Stadium, great activities like the College Football Hall of Fame or world's largest aquarium or World of Coca-Cola. within walking distance of all the hotels, and 3 interstates that intersect in the middle of downtown. So easy drive for a lot of people to get there as well. So we're very, very blessed that we have a great infrastructure, and you put on top of that great people with a committed strategy and vision and a lot of hard work. And that's the outcome you get is, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the success that we've been able to achieve.
Gary Stokan here, President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc. on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios. Gary, before I let you go, to look at the future that we have here coming up for the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games in 2022, as you talked about, Oregon and Georgia, Clemson and Georgia Tech. And then in 2023, we have Louisville and Georgia Tech. 2024, Clemson and Georgia, which was a huge game at the beginning of this season. The 2025, South Carolina and Virginia Tech. And added to the schedule just within these last few months, Tennessee and Syracuse will be part of the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games. So just what you can say about the plethora of teams you have, and that my hometown in 2025 is going to be down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Well, John Wildhack, first off, is a good friend, and I think very respected in the industry, and what he's done at Syracuse, being so successful there. We wanted to give the opportunity to Syracuse in the ACC, come play an SEC school like Tennessee. So we will have an orange out in 2025 in Atlanta, and we wanted to get out in front and really schedule some meaningful matchups. Obviously, you got to get lucky by getting teams that, at that time are coming on. We think that will be the case with the Tennessee-Syracuse game. Better lucky than good sometimes. But we also wanted to schedule out because so many ADs thinking there could be expansion of the CFP playoff have scheduled home and home conference, non-conference games. So that inventory is shrinking. And you'll see a lot of the cities that have followed us, whether it be Dallas or Houston or Orlando, Charlotte, a lot of them have not been able to do anything year to year. Take, for example, Dallas this year had to go buy a game from Kansas State against Stanford that was scheduled to be a Kansas State home game. They had to buy that game and move it to Dallas so that they could have a kickoff game played. So we've got some really good games coming up over the next 4.5 years, and we look forward to hosting them and making them a part of the Peach Bowl and Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game and Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl family.
And Gary, before I let you go here, in closing, just what you could say to be president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., and we talk about the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, College Football Hall of Fame, the city of Atlanta, Georgia in general, and everything that you do charity-wise and whatnot, golf outings and different things you get to do. Bring me into what your day-to-day is like, what it is to be the president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc.
Well, I try and support my team. I create the vision and the strategy, and they do a lot of the execution. They do a lot of the hard work. But we've got a lot of continuity in our staff, people that have been with me for 24 years and 20 years. So we know each other. We play off each other very, very well, and we respect each other. We have a business philosophy internally that's teamwork, empowerment, accountability, management. We work together as a team. We recruit people to specific roles to play on the team, much like a coach recruits. You don't want your center bringing the ball up the court playing point guard, and you don't want your point guard playing center trying to block shots and rebound. So we, in business, and that's all I've tried to do for my coaching background and playing background is, every business needs legal, financial, operations, marketing, and sales.
Yeah.
So we've tried to recruit experts in those fields, put them together on a team. We empower each of those individuals to play their role, make sure they understand the role, accept the role, and let them play the role. With the empowerment of E comes A, accountability. If you don't play your role, we're going to lose. So you're accountable to the rest of the team. And that's how we manage the process, is through teamwork, empowerment, accountability, management. So that's how we've been able to be so successful, is have a clear vision, have a clear way of working. And my staff does a great job of it.
And for you, I mean, I know that you try to obviously make the experience incredible and unique when it comes to the teams that are playing in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Bring me into what you try to do. And, obviously when things have to be fluid, like we talked about throughout this entire conversation, just how you have tried to make the experience fun for Michigan State and Pittsburgh, and just what it's been like to do some different things here with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, how you make sure that they get to know Atlanta and get to know each other and have some fun, because yes, it's a football game, and yes, it's extremely important, and it's used in recruiting and to make money for the schools and exposure and extra practices, but you also want them to have a good time as well.
Well, again, I go back to my playing days. When I was a basketball player at North Carolina State, I can still remember Coach Norm Sloan took us to Pace University to practice in New York. We were playing in the NIT. After practice, he said, "Okay, boys, get a shower. We're going to Broadway." And we were 18, 19 years old, and we had never been to New York, so going to Broadway was a big deal. He said, "Yeah, we're going to see a Broadway play." And we said, "What? We don't want to go to a Broadway play." And he took us to the best little whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. I'm aging myself now. But it opened my mind to Broadway plays. And I will tell you, Dan, from that day to this day, I'm in New York at least once a year. I make time to go see a Broadway play. So what I've tried to do with the bowl is create a theme. And the theme is this is a reward for players. So we want them to live, laugh, and learn. I asked them to do three things. We'll do three things for them. I want them to do two things for us during the week. Three things we'll do is they'll live great, eat great food like Chick-fil-A, get great gifts, practice in great facilities and play in a great facility. We'll want them to laugh, so we've created a Battle for Bowl Week with a 40-pound WWE belt, that we have competitions every night for them to compete, and then they give the belt back that next day and compete again the next night in something. And then lastly, we want them to learn. So as I'm sitting here today, Pitt is listening to Coach Bill Curry, who was an SEC champ at Alabama, ACC and SEC Coach of the Year, played on the Baltimore Colts when they won the Super Bowl with Johnny Unitas, played on the Green Bay Packers, won the Super Bowl with Bart Starr, and he was the center to both those great quarterbacks. And he's written a book called 10 Men in the Huddle. And it talks about how a kid from inner city LA and a kid from the sticks in North Carolina can be in a huddle and have different ethnic backgrounds, different religious beliefs. But when they get in that huddle next to each other, they're teammates. And they become close because they know they depend on each other to make that next play work and make that team win. And so they're listening to Bill Curry in that speech right now. We take them to Children's Healthcare, where those kids during the Christmas season didn't get out of the hospital and may never get out of that hospital. Yeah. For that coach of Pitt and Michigan State to give back with the players to those kids is special. And then lastly, we want them to also learn by just going through the College Football Hall of Fame. And as I tell them on the first night they arrive, we want one of you to be inducted in that College Football Hall of Fame 15 to 20 years from now. So when you walk through there, we want you to be inspired. We want you to be that person who you're seeing them in the Hall of Fame now, but we want you to be that person in 20 years from now and get inducted and come back to Atlanta. So it's live, laugh, and learn. And then we ask them to do two things. One is to have an attitude of gratitude in everything that they do this week. So when you get out of bed, have a great attitude, because if you have a great attitude, something good could happen. If you have a bad attitude, I guarantee you something bad's going to happen that day. And secondly is enjoy the journey. God doesn't promise us another second, minute, hour, day on this earth. And so enjoy right now. Enjoy the day. Enjoy this person you're next to. Enjoy your roommate. Have fun this week and enjoy the game because, you never know when those sands of time run out. So you better enjoy it. Don't wait till, you're 70 years old and retired and say, boy, is that all there was? Don't be a wish I coulda, shoulda guy. Enjoy the journey right now. So that's kind of the theme we use. They do two things for us, and we ask them right from the beginning. Right now, we want you to turn to the person next to you and get up and thank them because as your teammate, they helped you get here. And when you leave this room, carry that forward. Call your parents tonight, your brother and sister, your head coach. They all helped you get to this pinnacle of college football success and show them a little attitude of gratitude.
Every time we talk, I am moved. And what you do with everything on the, collegiate side of things is beautiful. But more than anything else, Gary, I'm so happy that when we had a bunch of people at ACC kickoff years ago walking around representing bowls, I just said, you know what? I'm the type of person to do this. I'm like, I'm going to introduce myself to as many people as I possibly can. And if but one of them says, yes, I'll do an interview, then that's something I didn't have before. And that's a win. You sat down with me. You changed my life back then. You have no idea how much you changed it sitting in that room years and years ago. I think it was like 8 years ago when you had said something to me. And I just remember sitting there and I had so many feelings, so many things trying to take my mind off of my job and what I do and what I love. And I sat there with you and I talked with you and I just saw what I needed to see. And it was something positive. And you saw something in me when I was struggling to see anything in myself. And so to look back then to now, I can only tell you that it's so much more to me than Peach Bowl Inc. It's more to me than the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. It's who you are as a human being. It's someone I want to be connected to. I want to work with. I want to find ways to collaborate. I know we do interviews and whatnot, but hopefully I would like to think that we've barely scratched the surface and maybe Gary Stokan and Dan Tortora arm in arm with something else in the future could be something down the road. Maybe, just maybe.
Well, Dan, I want to compliment you. I've always heard, and Truett Cathy, who's my favorite businessman, always told me, Gary, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And what I saw in you was somebody that was passionate, somebody that was going to make it work what you were trying to do. And I love that in people, someone that's willing to give it all and give it up and do whatever they have to do to make it work. And I saw that in you and I saw that passion and it exists still today. You have a passion of what you're doing and that's why you're going to be successful and you are successful. So I'm just happy to be appreciated, happy to be someone that somebody wants to talk to and listen to. And so we'll look forward to hosting you down in Atlanta again this year and in the future as well.
And I'm excited about it. And all I know is above everything else, below God and below our friendship, but in the top three, we both love Chick-fil-A.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. As I said, they have great food, but they're better people, and we're better for being involved with them. So we'll look forward to sharing a Chick-fil-A sandwich with you down in the press box.
And I do want to make a quick note here, Gary, because I know that this is meaningful to you. Jim Sikowski, who I work with and partner with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay in Central and Upstate New York. He is the owner-operator of both, and he has publicly been fighting up against ALS and has done a tremendous job, continues to hire, continues to meet with people every single day to be happy, and he's always at Chick-fil-A Cicero and always at Chick-fil-A Clay. He has been changing lives and just showing what Chick-fil-A is all about and what he's all about. So if you can send up a prayer or two his way, I know he would appreciate it. And, to the place where Chick-fil-A began, I know that I'm sure Jim Sikowski's name has been across their desk many times because he is one of the people that truly embodies what they're supposed to be and who they are.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. I'll keep it. I'll keep him in my prayer list and start with tonight. And it's like I said, they're better people than their food, and their food is great and the best in the business. So that's a perfect example of what Chick-fil-A people are all about. So thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to eat some now. No joke. Hand to God.
Go get him. Go get him. All right, I owe you a sandwich when I see you in Atlanta.
Sounds good. I'll talk with you
Thanks,
soon.
Dan. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
All right. Bye-bye.